How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I can't imagine where your mind is growing and what you're doing inside your heart right now, because the Marines will always tell you it's never a former Marine, it's always a Marine. And your life and your journey has got to be the same way. You're always on.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. There's my heart is always in, what I used to do as a federal agent, as an investigator, having worked for the Secret Service. Certainly, watching that event on that day, I was like, "Wow, what just happened here? This is surreal."
Yeah. One of the RNC has been here in Charlotte, so I know what they did with the outer perimeter and what we couldn't do as regular civilians. So that even if it was a speech or a lecture right there, it's on the outer perimeter. It was wide open.
Sure. That's what the information appears to be at this point. Okay. It's coming in bits and pieces. But my ultimate reaction, once I learned that the shooter was on a rooftop 150 yards from the podium, which was in a clear line of sight, that's really what we might call a chip shot with a long arm. It's not a difficult shot to make. So my question was, why wasn't there a uniformed law enforcement officer armed on the top of that roof?
Right.
Okay, not just during the speech, but hours before the president was to arrive. Keep in mind, they're not only securing the president, they're securing the venue so that the people in the venue cannot be harmed. So I want to know why there wasn't someone on that roof 2 hours in advance, at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's interesting you bring that up, because I know that where iHeartRadio was over on Billy Graham Parkway, when the president came to Charlotte, any president, what would happen is they would go all the way down the Billy Graham Parkway to secure every single building. That's how hard of work that you guys are expected to do.
Yeah, okay, so that's interesting because the president does receive additional personnel and additional assets. So that is one slight discrepancy. However, the outer perimeter here, which is traditionally, not in all cases, but traditionally handled by local law enforcement, but in coordination with the Secret Service. In other words, Secret Service saying to them, we really need this secured, this part of the outer perimeter. So it's the local law enforcement personnel providing the personnel, but it's not like the Secret Service doesn't contribute to it. Mm-hmm. And that's where it's critically important to understand what was supposed to be done with that building. We now know through eyewitness accounts and different reporting that there were officers around that building. And my question is, what were they looking at? How was this individual able to climb that roof? I'll put it to you this way. If you have 50 poststanders, whether that's in the interior of the venue and the outside, if there's one or two that doesn't execute their duties responsibly or correctly, that's your weak link. Mm-hmm. And those weak links can cause the whole plan to come down. And that's what happened that day. I mean, at least in terms of no one getting to this guy.
This is going to play out over and over for the rest of our lives. And one of the things my wife and I openly discussed is this the new grassy knoll? Because, I mean, to be on that building, and instantly I went back to JFK.
Well, I don't know if it's the grassy knoll in that context because, well, fortunately, and for our country, former President Trump wasn't killed in this instance.
Right.
The shot came from there. Of course, this is America, and there's a tremendous amount of information flow, and I'm sure there'll be conspiracy theories regarding this, but we have to wait for the FBI to do their investigation. They're professionals. I'm sure they're also doing very diligent investigation. It's going to take some time because there's a lot of interviews that have to be conducted here. So I don't think it's the new grassy knoll, but someone might suggest otherwise.
Yeah. I'm just glad that you're taking the time to educate listeners, because all we're getting are headlines from professional announcers, and your reality and helping us understand this is so important right now.
Well, it's a pleasure to contribute in any way that I possibly can, but it's like a lot of situations, there's nuance that needs to be parsed through here. It's easy to draw a conclusion. One, we have to separate fact from fiction, right? We want the truth. We don't want to just come up with a headline. We don't want to just come up with a talking point that takes on a life of its own. And that's why this investigation is so important. to get to what happened here and to correct that. We wish this never happened, because this is a game changer. The show's going to go on, though. The campaign events are not going to stop. I can't see that happen between now and November. But I would just caution people from reaching hard conclusions based on limited information. Let's all keep a clear head and be what I like to call, what I tell my students, remain intellectually curious and intellectually honest throughout the process.
Wow. You got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Anthony, because I love your journey. I love where your heart is, and you just share so much with us.
And I'd love to come back anytime you request. Just let me know. It's been a pleasure.
You be brilliant today, all right?
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a great day.